Hi, it's Laura at Reading18. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. I am here with a quick, fun tag on reading habits. And this is an older tag originally created by TheBookJazz. I've learned from Katey Flowers. Katey Flowers is who I first saw do this tag. I'll link Katey's video below. As soon as I saw it, I intended to make a VR and then promptly forgot completely about it. So here I am months later making a VR. There are 11 questions, which I'll also put in the description box, that have to do with our reading habits, where we like to read, the bookmarks we use, how we treat our books, etc. So since I talk about books quite a bit on my channel, I figured why not? The first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I like to read most often on the love seat in my living room in front of the big window at the front of my house. I will insert a picture of my love seat here. And this is just a really sunny spot, well lit, which is why I prefer it, but I also like reading in bed quite a bit. Those are the two places at home I read the most, unless it's a nice sunny warm day, in which case I'm reading out in my backyard. Number 2, bookmark or random piece of paper. I will use anything as a bookmark. When I'm not reading on my e-reader, I will use a Post-it. I will use a old grocery list. I will use a pencil if it's a book, that I'm making notes with. Anything really that's available. My favorite bookmarks that I have these bookmarks that I got from my brother, and I don't know where he got these because I've never seen them in a store, but he got me a few of them. And they're these kind of ribbon style bookmarks, so this clip goes on the back of a paperback book, and then the ribbon falls inside the book and keeps your place. These are my favorite, and I have about maybe 4 of them that he had found in a shop years ago. So I cherish these, but when I don't have one of these handy, it's whatever is available. Number 3, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a certain chapter or a certain amount of pages? I will happily put a book down mid-chapter. It usually is at a page break. At the very least, it's going to be at the end of a paragraph. But I don't need to read a certain number of pages or a certain amount when I'm reading. I read however much I feel like reading, and then I put the book down. I would say probably more often than not at the end of a chapter, but if I'm feeling tired or something and catch myself falling asleep while reading, which happens pretty often, then I will stop where I am without finishing the chapter rather than read when I'm overtired and then have to go back. So I'll stop wherever. Number 4, do you eat or drink while reading? I am drinking something 99.9% of the time, coffee or water or a beer or whatever I have with me. So drink, yes, all the time. Hydrating is important. But eat while reading, not so much, but I'm also just not much of a snack person. So I'm not eating nearly as constantly as I am drinking. Number 5, multitasking. Music or TV while reading? TV, absolutely not. I do not understand how that is even possible. I do not do well if there are kind of words being spoken or lyrics to music kind of audible while I'm trying to read. I find, my hearing attention will kind of go to something else if I'm looking at a book and then there's also a conversation happening beside me or something like that. Sometimes instrumental music I will enjoy, or sometimes the long YouTube videos that are like 3 hours of forest river noises or things like this. I'll put those on while I'm reading sometimes, but not most music, because I find the singing will distract me. And definitely not television while I'm reading. That is absurd to me. Number 6, one book at a time or several at once? Several at once. I think my peak that I keep track of on some of the websites that I review books on and that, my peak number of books that I've ever had on the go at one time was maybe 9. Usually it's more like 4. I don't usually read more than one fiction at a time. I'll have one fiction going at a time, and then other things are different things, maybe a book on Ogham, a book on, something historical, a book on geomancy, a book on tarot, and a fiction book. I don't like reading things too much in the same genre simultaneously when it comes to fiction because I just get confused. But it's not uncommon for me to have, say, 2 or 3 Ogham books going at the same time. That's the most recent example I can think of because I'm learning Ogham right now. But yeah, always multiple books at once. Number 7, reading at home or everywhere. Not just at home, but definitely not everywhere. I am at home a lot these days, and have been, like many of us, for the past year and a half now. So I read at home the vast majority of the time, but I'm also happy to take a book and sit on the pub patio if it's a nice afternoon. I will read between appointments if I'm in my office space or something like that. Most of the time I'm reading at home, but if I'm somewhere else, then I will read if I have spare time as well. Number 8, reading aloud or silently in your head. Definitely silently in my head. I cannot remember the last time that I've read aloud other than, reading out a quotation while I'm teaching or something like that. But I don't read books aloud to myself. Number 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? No. Not reading fiction anyway. Obviously, if it's a reference book or something, then I'm not going to read it in a linear fashion, and yes, I will skip pages. But reading a novel or a book of short stories or something, no, I don't skip pages. No. Number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. Breaking the spine all the way. My loved books look like this. Not only is the spine broken, but it's like falling apart because it's been, loaned out to people. This is Kropotkin, Mutual Aid: A Factor of Evolution. I've had this book for a very long time. My most loved books are often shared and read multiple times and taken, places. They might get wet. The spine definitely gets broken in. And that is entirely fine with me. It shows that they are loved. And the last question, number 11, do you write in your books? Yep. I write in my books in pencil only. So just grabbing a book off my shelf that I knew would have some writing in it. I grabbed Judith Butler's Gender Trouble. This is a book that I teach various parts of. So it is full of Post-its and, stars in the margin, lots of underlining, brackets, notes on what's going on in particular parts of the text. Here in the corner, I've written, not helped by strategy in scare quotes, to help me be able to find things easily. I like to write in books, and when I'm reading on an ebook, I will highlight and take notes in that way, though I do prefer writing in my books in pencil, and I do consult those notes in future, particularly if it's a book that I'm discussing at a book club, or that I'm teaching, or that I'm studying, or that I'm going to be talking about with people in any context. So my books get pretty ragged and full of pencil by the time that I'm done with them. Those are my reading habits. Let me know what your reading habits are in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.